So now that we've run out of kings, what happens next? Do they choose a new form of government?
Yes, perhaps a representative government with 3 branches, the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. I've heard that can work well.
Have you been watching C-SPAN again?
It helps me sleep at nap time.
No, they didn't switch to a different form of government. There are no more kings because time has run out.
What do you mean?
The children of Israel have been warned over and over again. Since way back with Moses in the wilderness, God told them he would bless them and protect them in this new land if they were true to him and obeyed his commands. If they didn't stay true to God, enemies would carry them out of the promised land. When King Solomon dedicated the new temple in Jerusalem, he reminded the Israelites again that enemies would carry them all away if they did not stay true to God.
They haven't been true to God at all.
No, not at all.
While the kings of Judah and Israel have been ignoring God, 2 great enemies have been growing in the east, Assyria and Babylon.
Oh dear.
God is true to his word. For 200 years he waited patiently for the northern tribes to turn back to him. Now he was done waiting.
God removed his protection from the northern tribes. In 722 BC, the Assyrians swept over Israel and destroyed it. The last king of Israel, Hoshea, and most of the Israelites in the north were dragged off in chains to Assyria. The northern kingdom no longer existed.
What about the southern kingdom?
God gave Judah more time, since they were the children of King David. But for every king who followed God, like Josiah, there were 2 more who didn't, like Manasseh and Ammon.
If God's chosen people ignored him, if they worshipped other gods and God did nothing about it, the world wouldn't learn to respect God's holiness.
Finally, God couldn't wait any longer. He had to do what he said he would do.
God removed his protection from Judah. In 586 BC, 140 years after the fall of the northern kingdom, King Nebuchadnezzar and the Babylonians attacked and captured Jerusalem. The last true king of Judah, Jehoiakim, and many of the people of Judah and Benjamin were dragged off to Babylon in chains. What's worse, Jerusalem was burned. Her walls were pulled down, and Solomon's temple, God's dwelling place among the Israelites, was completely destroyed.
Oh, that's terrible.
Is this the end of God's rescue plan?
Some people thought so. There was no descendant of David on the throne of Israel. There was no throne. There was no Israel. The world hadn't seen God's anger against sin this clearly since the flood. But in the middle of all this, God used one of his prophets to say something incredible.
Who did he use? Elijah? Elisha?
Nope.
Elima? Elipa?
You're just making those up now.
I'm following the theme.
Nice try. No, we're talking about a very famous prophet, a man named Isaiah. God used Isaiah to deliver messages from about 740 BC until around 680 BC. In other words, from about 20 years before the northern kingdom was destroyed until about 40 years after. God had Isaiah warn Israel and Judah about the terrible things that were going to happen, about the end of Israel. But God also gave Isaiah another message, an amazing message. God told Isaiah what he was going to do next. He told him about the Messiah.
The what?
The Hebrew word Messiah means anointed one.
That's right. David was anointed with oil. This was God's sign that David would be the king of God's people. Isaiah announces that there is another anointed one coming, another king from the line of David, from his family, a king that will rule forever. Isaiah announces this with one of the most famous lines in the whole Bible. The virgin will conceive a child. She will give birth to a son, and will call him Emmanuel.
That sounds strangely familiar.
What's Emmanuel mean?
The word Emmanuel means God with us.
So a girl will have a baby
Who will be king of God's people?
and will be God with us.
Wow.
It seemed like the worst thing that could possibly have happened to the children of Israel. The land God had promised Abraham, the land they had fought for, gone. The temple where God had lived among them, destroyed. But in the middle of this situation that seemed hopeless, God sends Isaiah with an amazing message. The blessing for the world is coming. From the family of David, born of a virgin, a child is on its way. The hope of Israel, the hope of the world.
That's incredible! The hope of Israel isn't an army, it's a baby!
Amazing! When does this happen? How long are they stuck in Assyria and Babylon? Do they have enough food? Do they ever get to come back?
We'll learn about all that.
Oh, don't say it!
Next time. See you then.
Aha! It's finished! Humanity, fellas! Wait, what? Oh, phooey.